Scoodly doodly doo, it's time for another Welch review. Scoodly doodly doo doo.
Good evening, gang. Welcome to another episode of the Welch Review. Today we are running and gunning, you know what I'm saying? And in this movie, which I think is a hidden gem, right? I feel like it's a hidden gem. It's very good. It's very resemblance to like the 90s Tarantino films and the films that tried to be Tarantino films. I don't know if that's fair to say tried to be Tarantino films because he didn't invent the like humor crime like genre, right? Where they infused humorous moments in like serious crime elements, right? Like it's not something that's new. He just did it really well. So in that case, it's true. He did it really well, but there are plenty of other movies that dance in this genre. And Run and Gun is one of them. And in it, you have Ben Milliken as Ray. And you might know Ben from Bosch on Amazon, Blue Crush 2, or Mighty Oak. We also have Celestino Corniel as Nini and Orardo, and he was in The Fate of the Furious. He was also in Bosch and Mayans MC, the Sons of Anarchy spinoff. You have Ari Bakan as Perry. He was in Blue Bloods, Payback in Gotham. You have Raphael Sebrian as Lupe. He was in Narcos, Borgia in The Librarians. And you have Allison Thornton as Tara. She was in Dare Me, Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, and Dirk Gently Holistic Detective. Then you have Janelle Parrish as Faith, and she was in Pretty Little Liars, To All the Boys I Loved Before, and Trespassers. And then you have Brad William Henk as Billings, and Brad was in Orange is the New Black, Split, in The Stand. And then you have Mark Dacascos, man. I love Mark Dacascos. I love seeing him. He's in the film adaptation of Double Dragon. The classic, God, I need to review this movie. Brotherhood of the Wolf. Brotherhood of the Wolf is great. It combines kung fu and monster hunting. It's dope. Whoever thought of that's a genius. And it's based on actual events that happened in France. How insane is that, man? It's a great movie. If you haven't seen Brotherhood of the Wolf, do yourself a favor and go watch that. I think last year they just did a re-release of it, and it's amazing. You can get that on Amazon. Brotherhood of the Wolf. Mark Dacascos, bro. And John Wick Chapter 3. He was in that, and he was great in that too. God, I love Mark Dacascos. He needs to be in more stuff. You hear me, Mark? You need to be in more stuff, man. I need more Dacascos in my life. And then you have Richard Kind as Grayson. And Richard Kind, I just watched him in Red Oaks on Amazon Prime. That's a great show. He was really good. He played a really good caring father. I liked him a lot. He was also in Inside Out and Argo. And this was a new one for seeing Richard Kind in, and we'll get into that later. And then you have Angela Serafian as Maggie. And she was in Paranoia, Twilight Breaking Dawn, and Westworld. And Westworld is just fantastic. Yeah, really good show. And then this was written and directed by Christopher Borelli, and this is his first director's credit. Excuse me. He wrote the film Dangerous, which starred Mel Gibson and Scott Eastwood, and Witches in the Woods, and he wrote the Vatican tapes. Apologies, I was going to sneeze and then it didn't happen, and now I just look weird on camera, but we're rolling. Now, Run and Gun, as I said, is a very much like the 90s crime capers, I shouldn't say capers, but the 90s crime films that Tarantino and Joe Carnahan and a variety of other directors of that time were doing, right? Where there's hyper-violence, and there's also really witty wordplay, right? So people exchange wits and bullets, bodies and jokes, puns and punches. You see what I'm saying? Blood and laughs. All right, that's enough of word association. So, that's basically what Run and Gun is. And it follows our main character, Ben Milliken, Ray, not his real name, but the one he changes it to, who's trying to reform his life, right? He's trying to step out of crime, not deal with it anymore, not be involved, right? He wants to settle down. You know, he's met a lovely woman named Faith, right? And, you know, she has a son. So, yeah, the whole idea of having a family is very, very possible. Now, the problem is his past has caught up with him, right? His buddy Lupe is in the joint, and in the joint, you got snitches. And these snitches recognize Lupe, and Lupe knows Ray, and they know that he knows Ray. And this crime boss called the Shoemaker knows that they're still alive when they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be killed. So now this, I don't want to say third party, but this like gangster Richard Kind plays, Grayson, is like, look, man, I'm not going to turn you over to the Shoemaker, but you work for me now. So now he's stuck being his lackey, right? Doing all the things he wants to do, you know, wants him to do, right? And so it starts off like, I want you to kill this tree with poison, right? Because him and his neighbor are in a dispute over it. So his job at first is that. Now, in the background, you have Mark Dacascos, who plays Brando. And Brando is Grayson's brother. And Brando seems to have, well, he, you know, honor among thieves. He has some pieces of the pie, but he wants more pieces of the pie. You know what I'm saying? He's not about to ask for some. He's trying to take it. And he's trying to, you know, weasel in on what his brother's got going on and take some stuff for himself. Now, this whole pie business, taking of pie, changes when Grayson, you know, has this important drop coming up. And he needs Ray to go and pick up this package and exchange this money with someone. And that's when everything goes to complete crap, right? Ray ends up being in a shootout. Then he ends up, you know, running off to a facility. In that facility, he meets a deranged security guard who ends up hearing about the package and the drop, and then he, you know, an overall fight for his life, right? And like, how is he going to get back to Faith? How is this whole family thing that he's working on trying to achieve going to happen? And is he even going to make it out alive, right? And that's pretty much, I think, where I'll have to stop without, you know, over-talking it, but also giving too much away. Now, I think Ben Milliken as Ray does a very good job. This is the first time I've seen him in something, but he's very charismatic. He reminds me of Patrick Swayze in Point Break. He has that kind of surfer dude vibe, but also like he's seen some stuff, you know, and he's calm and he's quick-witted. And, you know, also tough, right? He's not like a physical, crazy specimen like Schwarzenegger. He looks like your average man, like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. You know, and also, that's actually a very good point. Or illusion, right? To, you know, Die Hard, right? Your average man, quick-witted, knows how to use a gun. Yeah, that's basically this. He does a very good job. I would say this is an ensemble piece. I don't think anyone really steals the show too much. I take that back. Richard Kind, I think, steals the show. If it's anyone's movie, it's Richard Kind's movie. He does a great job, and we're going to talk about him in a minute. But Ben Milliken, he does a very good job, plays his role very well. Right? I think another really good person in this is Brad William Henke as Billings. He's able to alter his persona, his voice, and his mannerisms to trick people, and if you see this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about when he does it. He can go from quite shy and, you know, with that idea of I want friends and people don't understand or try to pay attention to me, they look at me like, you know, I'm not important, to very menacing, cruel, and evil, right? And it's cool seeing him being able to switch on and off. He's very talented, and I hope this is leads to him being in more things. He was good in Split as the abusive and creepy uncle. He was good in Orange is the New Black as the overbearing and you know, control freak-esque security guard. So I'd like to see more of him. Mark Dacascos does a good job of playing like a Fredo-esque brother. Maybe not to the extreme of Fredo, but certainly the idea of like, I'm overlooked. No one pays attention to me. I'm important too. I have ideas. you know, and then there are some really sweet moments between him and Richard Kind where you can see he feels bad about what he's doing, and he's like, how am I going to rectify this? Out of all the things I've seen Dacascos in recently, I think this is his best performance and probably the best film. I hope there's more to come for Mark. I think he's a really talented actor, and he's capable of some real quality work, and he just needs the right vehicles to bring us there. Now, Mr. Richard Kind. Richard Kind is not an actor I thought I'd see in, you know, a mob-esque film or a crime-esque film, but he does great as a slightly unhinged gangster who believes in conspiracy theories. You know, when he has his freakouts, he's very humorous, but there's also some sadness to it, right? Like, you know, him believing the way the world is and how it's going, and the fact that, like, people just act like it's not there. You know, he's really, what he's looking for is meaning, you know, and it's hard to find meaning, right? It's hard to sift through things, you know, when there's so much baloney covering it, and people, you know, and it just becomes like the status quo. And that's really what he's doing. He's trying to find meaning and sift through things to get to the point. So he's a gangster who believes in conspiracies, but he seems like he has a heart. So he's very likable. I like that he is venturing into more, you know, roles that aren't just, you know, like the dad or the uncle or the friend or, you know, the sentimental, you know what I mean? Like he's dipping his toe into different genres. That's the better way of saying what I was trying to say. So I hope he does that. I would like to see Richard Kind in more things like this. And as far as Christopher Borelli, I think this was a very good first film. I think it should, you know, the man certainly knows what he's trying to do, what he sets out for. You can see where he's paying homage to films that have come before him. I think it's a very contained story, right? All the sets, they're filmed strategically, right? And then they use that space, like when they're at the plant with Billings, or, you know, at that scene in the desert with Nini and Gerardo, you know, or when they're at the Richard Kind's office, right? Everything is used to its full potential. It's very smart. The angles are very cool. It tells a very good story about a man trying to find his way and figure out what he wants. Search for meaning, right? Because that's what everyone's doing at the end. Even criminals are looking for meaning. You know, they didn't always want to be criminals. They don't always want to stay criminals. So I think he gives crime a little bit of heart in this movie, and I like that. It's a feel-good crime film. What a strange sentence. But anyway, guys, that will do it for this episode of the Welch Review. Thank you for tuning in and allowing me to be a part of your evening or your day whenever you're watching this. So until next time, true believers, stay gold.